23 years ago, an elderly couple was driving their car, heading to a specific place to spend their vacation. They were listening to music and enjoying themselves until suddenly, the cassette stopped playing, and the song, Jeepers Creepers, started on its own. At that exact moment, a large truck appeared behind them. The driver was driving recklessly, making the couple nervous. They were terrified of the truck following them, but it soon passed by and continued down the road as if nothing had happened. A little later, they saw the same truck parked near a strange-looking house. The driver, wearing out clothes, was carrying a body on his shoulder and throwing it into a huge pipe that went straight into the ground. The old couple was horrified. The woman turned to her husband and said this place was dangerous, and that they needed to leave immediately. But the truck appeared again, following them. The couple panicked, took another road as fast as they could, and kept driving. Then the man stopped the car, wrote down the truck's license plate number in his notebook, planning to report it to the police. However, his curiosity got the best of him, and he decided to go back to the spot where the man had thrown the body. When they arrived, they looked inside the pipe, and saw something truly terrifying. In the present day, we see Lynn and her boyfriend Chase driving to Arizona to attend a Halloween festival. Chase was watching a video about the elderly couple and learned that they had seen many dead bodies inside that pit, and that no one had heard from them since. Chase loved horror and the supernatural, so he told Lynn that the story of the creeper was real. He explained that the creeper returns every 23 years, hunts people, tortures and kills them in horrific ways for 23 days straight, and then disappears. Lynn laughed at him and said the story was just a silly legend, like the boogeyman, a tale parents made up to scare little kids. She told him people who love horror just make up creepy stories to have something to talk about. Chase then showed her a video clip that supposedly showed the creeper, but the footage was too blurry to prove anything. Lynn stood by her opinion. It was nothing more than a scary bedtime story. Later, Lynn felt sick and stopped by a tree to throw up, while Chase stayed in the car texting his mom, telling her he had a surprise for his girlfriend. He then pulled out a small box with a ring inside. He was planning to propose. Meanwhile, the camera pans to the tree where Lynn had been. The creeper's weapon was stuck in its trunk, and a strange white bird with red eyes perched nearby, watching her. Soon after, the creeper awakens from a pile of garbage after 23 years of slumber, feeding on the insects crawling out of dead bodies, his favorite meal. He then heads to a morgue, takes some fresh clothes from a corpse, and puts them on. Elsewhere, we see Sam, a friend of Lynn, who was also heading to the same festival. He got lost on the way, pulled his luxury car to the side, and called Lynn for directions. Moments later, the creeper appeared and brutally killed him. Back to Lynn and Chase. They were still lost and stopped at an antique shop to ask for directions. Inside, they found the place filled with strange charms and symbols used for black magic. The shop owner, Mona, handed them a map showing all the roads to their destination. But when Mona's hand touched Lynn's, Lynn suddenly had a terrifying vision. She saw an old swing, people dressed in black performing dark rituals, and strange symbols everywhere. She snapped out of it quickly, took the map, and left with Chase. As they were leaving, Mona smiled and said, "Congratulations." Lynn and Chase didn't understand what she meant and thought she was just crazy, so they left. After they were gone, Mona picked up the phone and said, "Good news, we have a wonderful feast tonight. He's going to be very pleased with us." Later, Lynn and Chase checked into a hotel. After spending some time together, Lynn went to the bathroom to get ready for the festival. She was holding a pregnancy test. When she used it, something strange happened. The result wasn't 1 or 2 lines as usual, but a circle with a dot inside. Suddenly, she had another vision. She saw Mona again, dressed in black, standing next to the same swing she saw earlier, and on it was a child. A crow began pecking at the bathroom window, startling her. Chase heard her scream, rushed in, grabbed her, and took her out of the bathroom as fast as he could. Then we see that the pregnancy test turns out positive, which means Lynn is pregnant. The festival finally begins, and Lynn and Chase head there together. Outside, a protest is taking place against the festival. One of the protesters grabs a microphone and shouts, "The curse that's been dead for years has finally awakened." Lynn is puzzled by his words but doesn't pay much attention. She and Chase enter the festival anyway. Inside, the place is packed with people wearing costumes of their favorite movie characters, terrifyingly realistic ones. A young man suddenly runs through the crowd, pretending he's been shot with an arrow. Everyone rushes to help him, but he laughs and says he tricked them, still laughing hysterically. Later, he heads into the woods, and his little prank turns into a nightmare when the creeper appears, hangs him on a hook, and kills him brutally. Meanwhile, Lynn and Chase are having a great time at the festival. They decide to play a shooting game. Chase goes first but doesn't hit a single target. Then it's Lynn's turn. She chooses a different weapon and hits every target perfectly, but she accidentally cuts her finger. A strange circular mark starts forming on her skin. Lynn stares at the mark intensely, and suddenly she has another vision. This time, she sees the same man from the protest, dressed in black. In her vision, she's standing silently with a circular symbol and a dot drawn on her forehead, surrounded by people wearing dark robes, performing black magic rituals. She snaps out of it, visibly shaken. The game host announces there will be more competitions later, so Lynn and Chase decide to join again. They each take a number and drop it into the lottery box. Mona, however, secretly switches their numbers with others, ensuring that they'll win. And indeed, Lynn and Chase win the draw. Their prize? 2 tickets to enter the haunted house, an attraction where participants go inside with a group of people to solve puzzles and try to escape before sunrise. Everything that happens inside will be filmed and uploaded to the internet later. The group consists of the lottery host Jamie, the cameraman filming the event, the director Michael, and the bus driver Stu, who is also the same guy who ran the shooting game booth. They finally arrive at the haunted house and pass by a graveyard right in front of it. Stu tries to spook them, saying, "The family that used to live in that house is buried right here in these graves." Then he adds jokingly, "But don't worry, they were good people, so if the house seems haunted, it's probably nothing. Come on, let's take a little walk and go inside." At the same time, we see the creeper driving his truck straight into the main power tower, causing a huge explosion. The entire area loses power, no electricity, no cell service. He climbs out of the truck as surveillance cameras nearby record everything. Later, the cameraman watches the footage, but it's too blurry to make out what happened. Suddenly, his camera stops working, forcing him to continue without it. Then he spots the girl who was singing earlier at the festival, still wearing her black outfit. He approaches her, asking for help fixing the camera, but out of nowhere, that same strange white bird appears, and the creeper comes up behind him and kills him instantly. Back near the graveyard, Chase is joking around with Jamie, annoying Lynn with his immature behavior. Frustrated, she walks off alone toward the cemetery. Chase follows her quickly to apologize and tells her how much he loves her, revealing that he has a surprise for her. He kneels down and opens the ring box, but before he can say a word, the creeper suddenly appears and snatches Lynn right in front of his eyes. Then the rest of the group returns. They were out searching for the cameraman. They soon find his camera covered in blood, and suddenly Chase comes running toward them, panicked, shouting that the creeper isn't a myth, he's real, and that it took his girlfriend Lynn. He's terrified and takes off running to alert the police. But as he's running, he trips over the cameraman's body, which is torn into pieces. The group freezes in horror when they see the body, then quickly sprint back to the house to hide. The moment they get inside, the singer and the protest leader lock the door and tell them, "We've prepared you for dinner tonight." That's when they realize everyone dressed in black are servants, worshippers who see the creeper as their god. Once inside, the group starts to suspect Staub, since he's the one who brought them here. But Staub defends himself, insisting he has no idea what's going on. Chase grabs an iron bar, threatening him to reveal where Lynn is, but Staub pulls out a gun and fires a shot in the air to scare them off. Meanwhile, the creeper has Lynn tied up, carving strange symbols into her stomach with a knife. When he hears the gunshot, he senses their presence and heads toward them to kill. On the other side, the group runs through the house searching for a way out until they stumble upon a room with Sam's mutilated body. Suddenly, the creeper appears. Staub draws his gun and shoots him in the arm, but it doesn't even faze him. The group flees the room, and the creeper grabs Sam's severed arm and eats it, causing his own arm to regenerate. Back with Lynn, she manages with great effort to free herself, cutting through the rope using the same knife he used to carve into her. She escapes. The rest of the group gets separated from Jenny while running. She hides inside a room, grabs her phone, and tries to send a message to anyone for help, but of course, there's no signal. Suddenly, the creeper bursts through the wall, grabs her by the hair, but she miraculously escapes. Later, Jenny asks the others how they can possibly get away from the creeper. Chase replies, "We've got two choices. Either we kill him, or we survive long enough for the 23 days to pass." Out of nowhere, Dean falls from the ceiling and tells them that the creeper wants her, because she's pregnant, and he plans to sacrifice her unborn child to be reborn stronger than ever. They find a room with a landline phone. Michael rushes to grab it but triggers a trap that clamps onto his leg, badly injuring him. Chase grabs the phone and calls the cops, but they don't believe him. Unfortunately, the creeper tears the phone line away before they can explain. They all rush out of the room and start planning what to do next when suddenly the door bursts open. The creeper hurls a small vase straight at Jenny's head, killing her instantly. He drags her body away and eats her brain. The rest of the group finds a room filled with black magic symbols and ritual tools. They realize this is where people have worshipped the creeper as a god. Lynn has a terrifying vision. She sees black magic practitioners surrounding her, slicing open her stomach, smearing her with blood while chanting strange incantations. Beneath the floor are piles of human corpses. They finally understand, for centuries, these cultists have been offering human sacrifices to the creeper, feeding him so he can grow stronger. They run out of the room trying to find an exit, but the creeper ambushes them, stabbing Michael in the stomach. Staub retaliates, stabbing the creeper in return, then takes off running as the monster chases him. Outside, the creeper spots Lynn standing motionless, thinking she's surrendered. But suddenly Chase drops a massive trap from above, slamming it down on him. The creeper grabs Lynn by the throat and lifts her up, but she pulls two blades from behind her back and stabs him straight in the ears, then in the eyes, blinding him. Chase seizes the chance, driving a huge iron spike through the creeper's mouth and out the back of his head. Moments later, a swarm of crows descends from above, attacking everyone. The creeper falls from the rooftop dead. Chase barely makes it back into the house as the crows circle the creeper's body and carry it away. Soon after, the police arrive and rescue Lynn and Chase, placing them in the car. But suddenly, Lynn's eyes turn completely black. The dark magic has taken over her. In the final scene, the crows gather again, swirling violently, and from within them, the creeper is reborn once more. And that's where the story ends. Tell me what you thought of the movie down in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.